3 mana, 3/3 Marooned Archmage. Your first spell each turn costs 2 less. So this is like Apprentice, but worse, dude. What the hell? Your first spell every... Like, it has to survive in order for you to get the 2 discount? What's even the point of this? This is like they're tempting us. They're taunting us. They're like, we know you want it, but we're not going to give it to you. Druid, Taurus is Mage. Okay, yes. So, these cards can see play in Druid. And there's one interaction in particular that I am definitely scared of. But Mage could use some of the Paladin cards, and we'll try to keep this in mind as we go through this review, because Mage getting like some of these tempo tools is actually kind of a big deal. And also just getting like, you know, extra spells to cast. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a good thing, but Service Ace can also go in Mage. You can discount your Sif one way or another. But yeah, Tide Pools. Discover a spell that costs 3 or less. After you cast a spell, reopen this. This card is interesting for the reason that you can, you know, like get like a bunch of value all in one turn. But I really don't know how good this card is. Like, you're discovering maybe secrets, you're discovering like damage cards. Like, the fact that it's discovering for 3 or less is very important. Because it means that you can utilize this to try and get like a certain card type. Like, kind of similar to how Naga Mage was back with Vast Wisdom. Vast Wisdom was great because it gave you a card below a certain mana threshold. It's basically Fireheart without the body. To an extent, I guess. Yeah, Fireheart was also like 3 or less, or like some mana threshold, right? But like, the biggest thing that I'm confused about is why do we want this? Like, it is support with like Marooned Archmage to where if it sticks, you could play the location and you could probably play the first spell you discover out of it. But it's like, outside of like a deck that's just trying to get value, like, what do we want this in? Do we want this in a tempo deck? Is this going to be in a control deck? I really don't know. It's just a straight up value card. I guess Druid could use this as well. And Druid doing a bunch of disgusting things is very scary to me. Very scary to me. Don't get me wrong. I'm very scared about that. But yeah, dude. I feel like this is probably going to be more of a Druid card than anything. But in Mage, I'm really not sure how it's going to be utilized outside of, you know, just get more value. And like a greedy Casino Mage. Just not sure what else it really pops up. We don't have like a Naga archetype, for example. So there's no like spell archetype that would really benefit from that. Alright. Chill Breeze Chalice. 1 mana, deal 2 damage randomly split among all enemies. This card is going to break the game. Believe me or not. This card is actually so good in Alonius. Alonius Druid loves this card. They love it. It is such a consistent way of potentially like removing the board. And you can have like it's a 1 mana spell damage card. That's why it cares. Like, if you have a bunch of owls on the field and you have a bunch of 1 mana damage cards, that is super good. Like, I'm actually really scared of what can happen with this card in Druid. But in Rogue, with Sonya, if you discover this, think of that value. It's like bananas. If you've ever played Sonya into bananas and like all the crazy like stats, you could do the same thing, except now for every banana that you've cast, you're dealing 2 damage instead of gaining 1 attack. Crazy. Literally crazy. If people hate Sonya and 1 mana interactions like this, they're gonna hate Sonya even more. But yeah, this card is really good in everything but Mage. Like, Mage doesn't want this, I don't think. Because they don't have, like, a Malagos. Like, I guess you could use this in Sif Mage. Maybe it sees play in Sif Mage. But I feel like Sif Mage already has enough. But another reason why it might go in Sif Mage is because it's a Frost card. You can discount it to 0 with the Watercolor Elemental. But one thing I gotta remember with this card, I always forget its ability because it's just now recently seeing play. Yeah, draw a Frost spell at the end of your turns, reduces cost by 1. Okay, so this is not what you would want to draw off of it. But you still have, you know, the other, the freeze one. Get 1, buy 1, freeze 1. So maybe you don't want to run this because it's a frost card and you don't want this card to not get discounted. But still, the point is, this card is very good. This card is very good, but I think it's the worst in Mage. Go with the flow. 1 mana, choose a minion. If it's an enemy, freeze it. If it's friendly, give it +1 spell damage. You know what this kind of reminds me of? This reminds me of the augment cards. Like Augment Merchant. All of those like really weird cards where like they dealt 1 damage and gave you like Divine Shield or gave you like spell damage or something. This card is kind of interesting because now as Mage, we can give +2 spell damage to essentially any minion. Now, how good is that? I don't know. Wait a minute! It can go in Druid! Oh my god! How are they getting away with this? Also, how did I immediately think Owl with this, but I didn't think Owl with this? Tunnel visioning, dude. This is why you can't make opinions on cards the very first time you see them. I promise you there's something you're not considering, especially now in this expansion. 3 cards in a row can just go in Alonius Druid. Like, Alonius Druid has so many options at this point. How do we build the deck? There's so many 0 mana options. I just don't even know. But hold on a second. This is also just really good in Owl because it also is delay. It's also stall. Wow. Insta 5. That card is so good. Okay, Riia? This looks like it's Zyrella's daughter, so we're just gonna say Ray. Ray Sand Sculptor. Paladin Tourist. After you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion and give it Divine Shield. So they're giving Mage, like, tempo support. This is actually kind of cool. Yeah, it's Violet Teacher on fire. If Mage had, like, a bunch of 0 mana cards, this would be busted, dude. But they don't. They don't even have, like, a funnel cake or anything. So it's like, how is Mage supposed to utilize this? This is kind of like I feel like this is why they're supporting things like Marooned Archmage. Because the goal is to stick this as a 3-mana 3/3. And then if it stays every single turn and you have a card like this and you just keep getting value from it. So that's kind of cool, I guess. So maybe the 3-drop has more potential because you want to play for the board. You actually want your opponent to either trade their 3/3 so you can stick this on an empty board. Doomsayer with Divine Shield? Oh no, the next Trolden clip has been scripted already. Well, I mean, this is just good for you know, minion mage. I like the idea of playing like a tempo mage where I'm playing my minions again. Remember how satisfying it used to feel to play Mana Worm on turn 1? Imagine how satisfying it'll be to play this on turn 4 and have it stick. I don't know. Minion mage, I always like the way they go about it. I hope it's good. All right, Rising Waves. Also, by the way, you can't run this in Paladin, or you can't run this in Druid. So nice try, Druid. You're not getting Violet Teacher on crack. Rising Waves. Deal 2 to all minions. If none die, deal 2 more. So this is really cool. This is actually kind of a cool card. It can be a deal 4 for 3 mana, but you have to kill nothing. And that is such a huge distinction. Because it means a 1/1, for example, can just screw up. And, like, you could literally play around this card with a 1/1. As Mage, you have to get rid of that. Mana Worm on turn 1 and a Fire Orax on turn 2. Dude, those were the days. That's the agency that we need again, man. Mage and Paladin drinks are 1 mana for same aura and sunscreen. Okay, those are also very good. Oh, dude, wait a minute, yeah. Wait, you're right. Paladin Taurus, you have all these 1 mana cards. Oh, dude, wait, Small Minion Mage is gonna pop off. Small Minion Mage, dude. Dude, we have so many ideas that we're cooking today. We have so many ideas that we're cooking. I'm gonna have my work cut out for me these next 2 weeks. But yeah, Rising Waves is just crazy, dude. This is such a good card. But the biggest issue with it is that it can just be a deal 3 or a deal 2 for 3. But sometimes it's just what you want, you know? Sometimes those kind of cards just see play because you need an AoE at the right time. Yo, Jiminator coming up with the raid. We got 2 raids on the mages. You guys like mage? But yeah, Rising Waves looks like a pretty sweet card because it has potential to be a good card, you know? It's AoE. You need AoE. Under the sea. Spacebar. Whoever is responsible for this, I hope I never find out. Look at your spacebar. Go on. Look at your spacebar. Is there a certain letter that's above it that you notice? Could you say that your spacebar is under the sea? Whoever did this is a criminal, and they need to be arrested. They need to be put in jail right now. 6 mana, draw a different spell, summon a random minion of that spell's cost. Okay, this is cool. Draw a different spell, which means you can't under the sea into under the sea. That's not possible. That's not going to translate well into other languages. I actually wonder what the other flavor texts are. I didn't realize that sometimes they would probably change it up. Sea shanty. Oh, you can run sea shanty, bro. Wait a minute, but then this is kind of a low roll if you run all the other 1 cards though, the one drops. But at the same time, you just do it for the high roll, or maybe you just you know what this actually reminds me of? Wait a minute. You know what this reminds me of? Oh God, I remember. Oh my God, they brought back Spiteful Summoner. Spiteful decks. These were oh man, these are pretty divisive. You either love these archetypes or you hated these archetypes, because there were some pretty stupid scams you could do. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh no. Oh, dude, no. 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 Druid can run this. The new scam druid. The new scam druid. There's a possibility if we run a deck with okay, hold on, wait. If we run a deck with nothing but this card, the 6-drop. Is there a 10 mana druid spell? So it's just 8 drops. It's just cultivation. Aw, man. Okay, so you can't do the 10-drop. So there's no 10 drops that you can put into the deck as well, because there's no mage 10 drops in this expansion. Which is why they didn't go really hard. But Tsunami can go in Druid. And that, honestly, is not even that bad of a card to get. But then again, you wouldn't be able to cast it. Okay, maybe this doesn't work. But I was cooking. You saw the idea brewing. And it would have been really cool if we could have done that. But at the same time, that is a bit of a high roll. So if Druid gets a 10-mana spell, Spiteful Druid could come back as a scam deck. Just putting in that idea for a thought for later. But yeah, this card's pretty interesting. I know I keep thinking about Druid because I'm a Druid gamer. That's just how I am. But good lord, dude, this is not a bad idea. Spiteful deck's coming back. And the fact that you can run this in Mage with 10 mana cards, you literally can get a 10-drop in Mage very easily with this. Oh, wait, no, that's right. They fucking nerfed it. They nerfed it. Can we just make this card 10 mana again, please? For the love of God. Just make it 10 mana again. Give me back my 10D decks and give me my Spiteful Mage. I guess now we have to put Galactic Orb in the deck if we want to put a 10-drop for the Spiteful idea. But I want this card to be 10 mana again, dude. Bring back my 10D decks. I will not get over this. I don't care how many no's are in chat. The entire chat could be full of no's. I would still fight for this. I don't care. I love 10Ds, and I hate that they're worthless now. Tsunami. 8 mana frost card. Summon 3/3/6 water elementals that freeze. They attack random enemies. This is a nuts card. This is just a nuts card. In terms of compare it to this. Literally compare it to this 8 mana card. For 8 mana, the exact same cost. Freeze an enemy, summon 2 water elementals. This card came out oh god, almost 3-4 years ago. Bam. Now you summon 3, and they all attack. Like, the only thing that you can argue that makes Deep Freeze a better card is that the minions stick if the minions trade into bigger stuff, you know? But this could also just hit face. So it's like, how can you even compare it? And if you have no board against a mage, or if a mage literally has board control and then they trade into everything and then play this card, that's 9 damage going to the face. That's a lot of damage, man. I think this card is going to be insane, though. It goes face. Surfalapod. Guys, it's me. This is what I look like in public, right? Like, hey guys, I'm confident. This is literally me. This is what it's like to have social anxiety. All right, the next spell you draw is Cast When Drawn. So I'm confused on this. This means that the next spell that I draw is going to automatically cast itself, correct? Isn't that what this is doing? Or is this drawing a spell that is cast withdrawn, where it's like, if I play the 6-drop Insignious, it's going to draw one of those? Okay, so it's the next card that I draw, it automatically plays it. Okay. So that's why I was confused. Because it would make sense to enable a card like this specifically in Mage, not just for the 6-mana card, the legendary that we haven't talked about yet, but there's also Deck of Wonders. So like, drawing specifically a Cast When Drawn card is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. But apparently that's not how this works. So this means if I were to draw into my 9-mana Sunset Volley immediately after, it would automatically cast. Or like Under the Sea, or like Tsunami. That is huge. This is like Dragon Caster, except you have to get lucky on the top deck. So deck building around it is very important. But coining this into 4, and then coining this into 5, and then rolling 2 cards, like that's a scam right there. That's actually the next scam right there. You have to draw a spell. Are there any spell tutors in Standard right now? Spell tutors would be really good. Apparently, okay, so nope, not in Mage. Play this on, play Under the Sea, and then cast Sunset Volley. I mean, okay, well, that's 6 mana, though. I mean, okay, I guess that is true. Under 5 mana into 6 mana Under the Sea, that is true. I mean, it is there. But is that the only one? It looks like it's the only one. So that means it's not that consistent. Because not only... I mean, I guess at the same time, this doesn't even need to survive. Crap, that does just work. That's just a 5 into 6. Dude, big spell mage. You, like, actually would maybe want to keep these cards in your mulligan. Huh, big spell mage actually looking legitimate. Holy crap. So we have small minion mage and big spell mage. How thematic. So we got one more mage card. You have a much more wholesome approach, man. In my opinion, man, you are the best creator. You're real as hell. Oh, thank you, dude. I try to be, like I said, I try to be real. I try to be as transparent as possible because what you guys are seeing right now is me behind the scenes. This is me. I'm not playing a character. Every now and again, I might get upset and I might, you know, like, exaggerate, but this is me, you know? So thank you all for being here and appreciating the real me. And we're going to continue being real as we talk about this real good card. Maybe. How good is it? 4 mana, 4/4 Battlecry. Both players' spells cost 5 until the end of your next turn. Okay, this is actually extremely interesting. Blizzard, please surf. Instead of nerf. Okay. Okay, so here's how you have to look at this card. If you're going up against a rogue, you screw their combo. So it has ways where it can counter you, like Joshua was saying in the mirror. It is kind of bad in the mirror because if you play this into your opponent, they play a big card against you. However, against other decks, it could be a crutch. Suddenly your prep costing 5 mana You only have one spell to play. As a rogue, you hate only having one card to play. It might be, you know, like a dubious purchase or something. But then you're only drawing 3 cards. Yeah, you could also do this to counter the Owl Burst turn. This is not only like a tempo scam potential card or like a win condition enabler with like a 4 or 5, you know, kind of similar to like Belinda. This is also a disruption card. That's kind of cool. This is what I want from a Hearthstone card. Where like, it could have just been a card where, oh yeah, you have a 4-mana card and now you can play a big spell on turn 5. Yeah, that's, of course, that's why it's designed. But now you have a legitimate reason to hold on to it in certain matchups, and now you have this thing called agency that we've been begging for. I need that. I want this. Hell yeah. Love this card. Love the design. Am I gonna hate going up against it every now and again? Probably, but that's the point. It's agency. Fantastic card. Mage actually looks really exciting. I am very excited by a lot of the classes that we're seeing right now, dude. This is really reminding me of Titans.